A special thanks goes out to the lovely and talented Devin, who sent me a Reddit post entitled, "Am I wrong for leaving my fiance for lying to me?" Let's jump right in. For a while now, he starts, "I've had this hunch that something was going on. A couple of weeks ago, she, his 26-year-old fiance, made homemade food and took it to work on her day off, which is really weird to me. I asked who it was for, and she said a couple of her coworkers had, quote, paid her." Okay, let me pause it right here for a second and point something out that so many men let slide only for it to burn them later. So the fiance does something out of character, which causes his spidey senses to tingle. Now, he does the right thing and quizzes her, but he doesn't quiz her enough. He knew she wasn't being honest with him, but he let her off with that flimsy excuse. Now, here's the thing. There is nothing he could have done to stop her from doing what she was going to do. I mean, not legally anyway. So at this point, he needs to say to himself, okay, this is happening, and there's nothing I can do about it at this point. So let me try to get as much information as possible so I can maybe figure out what's going on here. So many guys try to solve the mystery all at once, and it never happens. As soon as you reveal to your woman what your suspicions are, she'll deny, she'll get fake upset. Then what she'll do is she'll change her strategy to hide it from you even more effectively. So instead of interrogating her, just quiz her a little bit on the details, like, hey, you know, which coworkers paid you? How much did they pay you? How did they know what to buy? Did you have a menu? And guys, when you ask these questions, your vocal tone needs to be matter-of-factly, as though you're just kind of curious and asking in passing. It'll also help if you appear to be distracted by something else, like having your phone or your TV, so forth. Let's continue. Fast forward to yesterday, she made food again and took it to work. I found it suspicious, so I pulled up her tablet and saw messages thinking about how she had been taking it to a guy at her job. She told her friend that she didn't tell me who it was because I probably wouldn't like it. Yeah, you think? Now, most of us are probably thinking that lying, cheating, you know what, and you would be right. But if we just pause for a quick second and pay attention, this guy just inadvertently dropped some serious knowledge. Anytime you go through your girl's phone, do not look for text messages from dudes. Look at the messages from her friends. That's where the bodies are buried, guys. Plus, a lot of women like to rename their paramours with female names. So when you're scrolling, don't look for male names. Look for female names. Again, the messages from her friends are what's going to give you the information that you need. Just like this guy. He found messages from her friends telling her why she lied to him. Never forget this, guys. He continues. I called her on her way back and told her. She said it wasn't wrong and that there wasn't anything going on. She got home and we spoke more, and I compared it to me taking a coworker to lunch or something of the sort. She said it wasn't the same. Okay, let's stop it right there. Gentlemen, if your woman tells you that making food, preparing homemade food for another man isn't wrong, you need to get out of that relationship immediately. This is the kind of woman who will scoff at your boundary standards and expectations. This man's fiancé, the woman he is supposed to marry, has cooked food for another man twice and just said there was nothing wrong with it. I'll tell you what, cooking for another man is actually worse than flirting with him, in my opinion. Flirting with another man while in a relationship obviously puts the relationship at risk. But when a woman cooks homemade food for another man, she may as well have given him the cheeks, because at this point, it's inevitable. Here are the facts, guys. Women do not cook for men they do not want to give the cheeks to, and it's as simple as that. Then he makes another mistake that every man has made when arguing with his woman, myself included, and use the most useless argument you could use with a woman, and that argument is, well, put yourself in my shoes. Today I'm going to talk about something that every man has done in his life many, many times. And that is using this argument with your woman. Well, if you were in my shoes, how would you feel? Now, in these situations, we're thinking logically, right? We think that if we can make her see the situation from our point of view, she'll see things logically and understand where we're coming from. And in our minds, if we make that happen, then she'll come around and totally agree with us. But there are two huge flaws in this logic. The first flaw is that women are not logical creatures at all. trying to actually appeal to a woman's logic, it's useless. I actually had a consultation client a while back ask me if he should try to be logical when trying to talk to women or pick up women, and I told him, of course not. Women aren't logical or rational. You don't walk up to a woman and say something like, hey, you should give me your number because I make $40K a year, I drive a reliable Honda Accord, and I have perfect credit, which means I can take good care of you for the rest of your life. Stuff like that is not going to make her aroused by you. It's not going to make her attracted to you, because women, they base their romantic decisions on emotion and emotion alone. Any man with this level of awareness knows this. I mean, honestly, you don't even have to know the true nature of women from this point of view to understand that they don't make decisions on anything really based on rational thought. That said, if you expect your woman to see things your way in a disagreement because you did the rational thing and asked her how she would feel if the situation were reversed, you're going to be disappointed every time. Again, you're trying to appeal to her logic, which backfires every single time. She'll likely say, well, I'd feel differently because of blah, 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 and whatever her answer is never makes sense because it is not based on logic. Now, that particular response leads me to the second major flaw in this logic, and that is that women will lie every single time. And I'll give you a quick example. Let's say you and your girl are arguing about, I don't know, her texting back and forth with her ex, which, by the way, wouldn't happen if you've coached her properly. But for the sake of, for the sake of the argument, let's just take the typical clueless rank and file male here in 2022 is in an argument with his woman about her texting her ex. They go back and forth, they yell, they get loud and so forth, and then he asks her, well, what if I was texting back and forth with my ex? You wouldn't like that, would you? 11 times out of 10, she is going to say, no, it wouldn't bother me at all, because if you told me you two were just friends, I would trust you not to suspect anything. Now, we all know that's 100% BS, because she would absolutely have a problem with it, and they both know it. But for the sake of winning the argument and giving herself permission to engage in bad behavior, she lies. Her lie is almost a double-edged sword of sorts, because not only does she tell him she'd be okay with it, the reason she gave him indirectly accuses him of being possessive, jealous, and controlling. When girls say, of course I wouldn't have a problem with it because I would trust you, what they're also doing is they're shaming men into ignoring our instincts by telling men that they would trust them in the same situation for no other reason but to create the margin they need to cheat. But then later on down the road, when she asks you who you're texting and it's your ex, she loses her mind. And when you remind her of what she told you before, she will always say, but that was different. What happens from there? She comes up with a bunch of BS reasons as to why your situation was different from hers and why she has the right to be pissed and why you didn't. Again, this is how modern women work, and they do this every single time without fail, guys. Guys, listen to me when I tell you this. Never, ever attempt to put your girlfriend in your shoes or ask her how she would feel if she were in your position, or if she'd be all right with you doing whatever it is she's doing, because she's never going to answer rationally. She's never going to answer honestly. This is a lose-lose situation no matter what. The put yourself in my shoes technique never, ever goes well, and it never ends well. If your girl is texting her ex, then let her know, hey, listen, I don't date girls who text their ex. Are you telling me to stop texting my ex? No, I'm just telling you I don't date girls who text their ex. If you're texting your ex, then you become the kind of girl that I don't date. So you're essentially breaking up with yourself, period. And guys, you got to be ready to follow through with this, because if you're not, she's not going to stop the behavior. And it is a mathematical inevitability that she is going to start smashing her ex behind your back. I guarantee it. The key to getting a woman to stop these kinds of behaviors is to not commit to her until she stops the behaviors in the first place. No explanations, no rational questions, none of this, well, how would you feel if I did the same thing? Dude, none of that nonsense. And if your woman asks you to think about this from her perspective, or how would you feel if I did the same, simply say this: stupid question, I'm not a woman, and leave it at that. Look, let her throw a fit, let her talk, let her bitch, let her cry. Stand your ground, guys, and do not feed into her emotional shenanigans. Eventually, she will calm down and will have more respect for you, because you've shown her that you're not the kind of man who will be manipulated by a simple role reversal technique. Guys, I'm here to tell you, when you tell a woman during an argument, what if the situation was reversed or something to that effect, 11 times out of 10, she is going to say that she'd be okay with it. Then when the situation is reversed and you call her out on it and let her know, hey, you said that you'd be okay with this, she is going to say, but that was different. That's exactly what happened to this guy. In closing, he says, quote, I feel like this leads further into cheating. I felt betrayed, used, and lied to. I also saw in her messages about how this guy makes so much money and how nice he was. I also saw her changing his contact picture to cute baby pictures of him. She has a 5-year-old and I'm her stepdad. We had been together for 2 years and I've been in the kid's life for a while and her biological father has never tried to contact them. Was I wrong for leaving? Or did I overreact? And of course, in the edit he says, thanks for the kind comments and the reassurance. I now feel like I really did the right thing leaving. She was using me like I thought she was. I guess I learned my lesson. I'm in a lot of hurt right now, but I got good family and friends helping me out. I really truly loved her, but I guess it wasn't the same for her. I'm moving on and never looking back. Thanks again, everyone. Listen, good for this guy for getting out of the situation. It could not have been easy for him to make this decision given that he had been with her for 2 years, but he saved himself a world of pain by ending his engagement to her. So let's talk quickly about the red flags and how to mitigate the potential damage here. The first and most obvious red flag was that she's a single mother. Guys, do not commit to single mothers. Don't do it. Single mothers are the scourge of the earth and are parasites that will bleed you dry and not think twice. Guys, dating a single mother is a no-win situation. If she's actually a good girlfriend, her kid suffers because she's catering to you. But if she's a good mom, your relationship suffers because her kid is the priority, as it should be. The solution here is to not commit to single mothers, guys. Have your fun with them, but don't commit. There are plenty of other automatic disqualifiers, and I detail them in my free ebook, 16 Ways to Immediately Disqualify Her for a Long-Term Relationship. Just go to tsracademy.com, plug in your very best email, and the book is yours for free. The second red flag is that she works around men. OMG, Donovan, that's ridiculous. How can a woman not work around men? That's ridiculous, is it? Remember, guys, this is 2023. More people work remotely than ever before. So if you want to mitigate the risk of your woman falling for and eventually cheating with a coworker, only commit to women who work remotely. Attractive women who do not work remotely are far more likely to cheat than women who do work remotely. My strategy, guys, is about mitigating risk. So if you have to choose between a girl, all things being equal, if you have to choose between a girl who works in an office and a girl who works from home, choose the girl who works from home simply because she's far less likely to be in a situation that could lead to infidelity by virtue of probability. Now, I talk extensively about this in my ebook, How to Properly Vet a Woman for a Long-Term Relationship. You can also get that at tsracademy.com. In the end, this dude did the right thing. His fiancée disrespected him in one of the worst ways when she cooked for this dude. She cooked for him to make herself more attractive to him and because she's also attracted to him. It's not a crime for a woman to be attracted to other men while they're in a relationship. They are human and they have eyes. But one of the main differences between a quality woman and a 304 is that quality women will avoid situations that could lead to cheating and 304s don't. It's that simple. 304s like to act on impulse to pursue other attractive men outside of their relationships, and quality women refrain from and will even eliminate any interaction with said man. Again, I talk extensively about how to recognize these character traits in my 5-part 7-hour audio course, How to Build a Quality Woman from the Ground Up. Gentlemen, do not commit to single mothers, do not commit to women who do not work remotely, and do not commit to single mothers who do not work remotely, and you are far less likely to find yourself in the situation this guy did. Thanks for watching.